guys, welcome back to another Bit and C programming course. Myself, I'm Anand Samahan and I'm a campus field code for call. So, without any further ado, let's move on to today's agenda. In our today's class, we're going to discuss about enums and unions. So, these are the user-defined data types as well. How we have explored in our structure. The same way here also, these are the user-defined data types, but there is some difference in syntax and all those things that we're going to explore more on it when we actually talk about with our examples and all those things. So, without any further delay, let's move to the code blocks editor. And now let's start with this enum. So enums, enum. So enum, or even we call it as enum. So these are basically an user-defined data types in C. So and it is mainly so the user-defined data types how we actually explored in our structures. The same thing we're going to do here as well. They should be like we'll do an example so that you can actually better understand with this. So here enum equals enum is a keyboard, and then enum name is a week I have mentioned here, and then open and close curly bracket. Within this, I'm going to mention Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday. So I'm going to mention in this way. So all the things I have mentioned here, all the weeks I have mentioned here. So this is what enum data type is. So now within a main function, I'll just remove this printf function here over here. I'll just remove it out, and then enum. So here enum, how we have even we have explored in the structure also that structure keyword we have mentioned. The same thing here also we have going to do. So enum keyboard, and then the week here, and then the day. So this is what we're going to have mentioned here. So enum and the week and then day. So we have a day here that we actually like it's a declaration of enum. And then now I'm going to mention day equals to when. So sorry when. So this is not web. Sorry, uh, be here. Yeah, it's a typo. Yeah. So now day is equal to when, and now here I'm going to use this a printf function here, percentage d here. So this is what we have mentioned here, and then this is what we have mentioned. So let's see the output. So what we're going to get it in our output screen, and then see what actually going to happen and all those things, because here we're getting output error because the capital, so we have to mention capital. So yeah, now we got the output as 2. So it's a 0, and the enum indicates a 0 and 1 2. So that's what we got it on output screen. So index of this Wednesday is 2. So that's what we got it in output screen. So yeah, this is what how we use the enum data type. Uh, enum data type, this is what we're going to use. And but when it comes to structure, we're going to mention all our other data types and everything we're going to get together, and then we make it as a structure. That is what the structure. And when it comes to enum, this is what we're going to do. So here we're not going to get all the things, but we just mention in this way. And but usually we don't use much these enum data types, but I don't like as of now. But whatever, but basically I just use a C for just competitive coding purpose. So, but whenever I just use, I didn't face much usefulness regarding from enum. But when I don't know whether if you just explore more on this development part, like open source or anything, maybe you can trigger. I don't know. But as of like whatever, I just use only C for this competitive coding purpose. That's it. So as of like for that purpose, I never faced much use for it enum. But I usually use structures thing, but I don't use much But even for you, even if you go for data sets and algorithms, most of the persons use structures keywords, so structures a lot, but don't use much enums. This is what enum about. So now we have one more thing, that is unions. So let's actually explore more on this unions as well. Unions. So let's talk about the unions. Before that, let me actually open something here with an. So let's with show me the Greek for Greeks thing. So here, so this is a union. So unions are like structures only. Unions are like a structures only. But there is a difference in unions that we're going to explore right now. What's the difference between the structures and unions? So that's what we're going to do. So unions is usually different, like the same thing and the same like a structure only. But there is a difference in union. All the members share the same memory location. But when it comes to structure, see for example, if you could look into this picture, so this is a structure thing. So structure here we have a Greek for Greeks and then character X and float Y. And then so if, for example, this is a memory allocated in the main memory. So we have like two times it's going to allocate a memory like the X and Y going to allocate a memory, objects going to allocate. But when it comes to union, so together X and Y both together going to allocate at the same memory allocation. And again here also the character, for example, a character take 1 byte and a float take 4 bytes. Then total going to be 5 bytes. But when it comes to here also we're just using the same thing. It should also take a 5 bytes, but it's taking only 4 bytes. That's the difference. So unions is going to allocate a memory for character and float X both together allocate only one memory. That's going to allocate 4 bytes because when it comes to unions, like it's going to consider all the data types, but it's going to pick the one data type which has highest memory, like which will take the highest memory size. That much of memory that going to allocate inside the memory, the main memory. For example, here in the character and float going to be the highest size of the like size going to take by the memory. That is 4 bytes. So that much of 4 bytes going to allocate the memory, but it's not going to allocate the for character. Even character also take that particular 4 bytes only. So it's going to replace that character. For example, if you use character, then we can't use a float. But if you use float, you can use it. If you use a float, then the character going to be replaced by the float. That's what going to happen. But when it comes here, we can actually access X with some different value and Y with different value. But the memory not going to like the previous value not going to be deleted or anything going to happen. But when it comes here, the previous value is going to be deleted. For example, if you say like X is equals to character A and Y is equal to 5, if you mention in that way, like before that, if you print it out here itself, the X means the X value going to be you can print it out by the what are the character that we are mentioning. Like for example, here for example I have mentioned A, and then after assigning the float Y also, if I print it out again, Y and X, if I print Y and X, then the X not going to be X going to be like there is nothing inside X because it's going to replace the with Y value. What are the Y value that we are mentioning after the X? So that's going to replace by X. So then no longer the X data going to be available, and then only Y data only going to access. So that's the difference between union and the structure. Everything will be the same, and we're also going to explore with an example here. And so let's explore with one example here. Union, for example here, union keyboard, and then I'm going to mention like so here I'm going to mention in this way, or else maybe okay, size is fine. And then roll number, and then uh, what are the things do we have, and then number of books. Okay, we're going to do in this way. So here both the integer type only. So both going to be take only 4 bytes. But as usual, if you allocate the same thing for structure, then it's going to take 8 bytes, right? But here when it comes to unit, only take 4 bytes. It's going to replace it. That's it. So now here, now coming to the main function. Main function here. So here I'm going to mention in this way, like the return 0 here first of all, and then here I'm going to mention this union keyboard, and then Sai, yes, yeah. That's the declaration that we have to mention here, and then here I'm going to mention s dot roll member. Mhm. For example, here I'll mention s dot x is equal to. Uh, I just mention as something like 20 here, and then I just print it out this one after assigning roll number is to 20. Mhm. And then what I'm going to do is roll num percentage d here, comma, and one more thing that we have is number of books equals to percentage d again. Here is dot roll num is dot number of books. That's what we have mentioned here. And now once after printing it out, I'll also assign. We haven't assigned this number of books, right? For example, number of books I'll mention is 10. So I'm carrying the. I have 10 books which have given by my college. So I'll just mention in that way. So and then I'll just copy this one and then I'll just edit it because it's very lengthy thing. I just want to write it again. So here, after assigning the role equals to, so instead of role, I have to mention number of books here. So number of books is equal to that going to be 10, right? So that's what we have mentioned here. And then the same thing going to be happen. So number of start roll number and then by, and then once everything is done, so I'll just print it out this one. So let's see the output and then what will be the output and all those things. Let's see it. So here, so we got output as after assigning roll equal to 20. For firstly we assigned roll equal to 20, and then roll equal to 20, and number of books is also going to be 20. Before that, we are actually not even assigning this number of books, and even though we got output as number of books is also 20, because that's what I said, right? So union take the memory of together only one memory allocation, but when it comes to structure, it will we can take different types of allocated memory. For both together, you're going to take only 4 bytes, but when it comes to structures, it's going to take 8 bytes. So that's the difference here. And then after assigning the number of books equal to 10, so after assigning the number of equal to 10 here, and even after I printing it out, so I got it 10 and a 10. Before that, it used to be 20, right? Even though it's moving as a 10. So that's what you're going to replace by 10. That's what going to happen when it comes to union. So that's the difference between structure and union. So this is what about the class about enums and unions. So that's I hope you guys understood about enums and unions. So that is what about the unions and enums, guys. So thank you for watching, guys. If you like my work, please do like, share, and subscribe to CoFocus. And thank you for watching.